Hello, I'm Bluetooth, and I was cursed. The rules of this curse are pretty simple. I can't catch Pokemon other than the first one I meet on each route, with the exception that if a Pokemon I've already caught shows up, I can run from it and try again. If a Pokemon faints, it is considered dead and cannot be used anymore. I can't use Mystery Gift or player-traded Pokemon, though trading Pokemon to evolve them is fine. Revives can be used if I find them. I cannot farm or buy them, though. If I don't revive them during the battle, they are considered dead. So yeah, I'm stuck in a Nuzlocke. This life started off just like any other. A professor named after a tree greeted me in heaven or some other in-between void, not sure, and welcomes me to my latest reincarnation into this world of Pokemon where I inhabit a 10-year-old body, collect 8 badges, beat up an incompetent team of ne'er-do-wells, and save the day, and possibly the universe while I'm on a milk run looking for my dad who never seems to exist in any of these lifetimes. Let's get this over with so I can keep the cycle going. My choice on starter is ruled by one simple thing. I called it. Let me explain. I'm the second oldest of 3 brothers. We always call Pokemon, and any called Pokemon can't be used by the other 2. My oldest brother always calls the fire starter, so I get the grass one. I do on principle and because nostalgia from simpler days. But here I am, cursed to live through each of these lifetimes. So, I choose the earthy turtle Turtwig. After choosing this little vegetable, Barry and I got interrogated by Dawn, who runs off to tell the teacher on us for using our surroundings to keep us from dying from wild bird assaults, which are pretty common here in Sinnoh. And maybe that's what happened to my dad. Professor Rowan then shows up after Dawn dragged him over to put us into timeout or something, but he just said the same thing as usual and then left to go work. Barry and I went home, got dinner and a lecture on leaving people's things alone, and then told to leave and not come back until we had a good job and grandkids. So off Barry and I went into the sunset together. Barry? Are you okay, man? Never mind. Alright, I'm on my own. I'm beginning to think this is part of the curse of living in a 10-year-old body. I arrived in the next town and was immediately dragged off to see the professor by none other than Dawn. The professor didn't care about the Pokemon as much as the mud I just tracked onto his newly waxed floor. Dawn let me go after giving me an earful on how she's got her eye on me. However, she did show me where the nearest Walmart was, so I guess she isn't all bad. I decided to backtrack to pick up some belongings from my mom's place, like my hat and savings, since it was getting cold and food doesn't grow on trees. After watching how Turtwig eats his prey, I've decided to name him Jaws. I also caught a Bidoof who I named Tooth, who came in handy for building a shelter during that night. As I went on to the next route, the worst part of the curse started. It was from Dawn.
Oh no, not again, boys, no!
I snuck off once her back was turned, and the rest of my day went as follows. I caught a wild ham radio, who I named Toon, had Jaws beat up a bunch of kids' pets for grocery money, went into the big city, talked to strangers who all gave me free technology, and now all my internet ads are what I just talked about. That's probably unrelated. I had Jaws convince Barry to give me all his college funds, so that was pretty cool. I also encountered an Abra and spent the next few minutes praying to Arceus that I could catch it. Yes! Finally, I made it through Mount Coronet, fell asleep by a pile of boulders. The next morning, I went in search of my first gym badge, which involved going to the town's coal mine. Normally, I would complain if I was accosted by a large snake made out of living rock, but in this case, it was a welcome sight. The team and I decided to name her Dia. I remember ponytails being a little north of this town, which would have helped keep us warm at night and made travel faster, but I stepped on a landmine instead, which I stuffed into a capsule and dubbed Nindo. Jaws was pretty hungry at that point, so we ate at the gym. The chef overcooks everything. The food was harder than the plate it was served on. The miners in this town apparently like their food like the coal, raw or on fire. I was thinking we'd have to eat Tooth with a side of Badoo greens, but I guess it was pretty noticeable how hungry we were because a fisherman gave me a rod to use. This not being my first lifetime, I know I hate preparing Magikarp meat, so I kept this one and just settled for the leftover roast soup from the local hospital dumpster. I mean, I haven't seen any Rattatas around, so it's probably fine. It's also worth noting that Dia is really good at catching the wild squirrels. A passing stranger also showed me where I can find berries on short bushes around town too. Wait, food grows on trees? With the food problem sorted for now, I turned my attention back to reinforcing my team's chances to carry me to the next reincarnation. Went back into the cave, found a blind bat. I would add it to my team, but last time I did that, it ended my life early in a rocky tomb. Well, guess this is the place. Let's see, this next part felt a little slow, so I'll just abbreviate it for you. Past a small town that had something to prove, or that's where Disney's gardeners live. Was guilt-tripped into helping a small child look for her dad. Don't try it, kid. Mine hasn't come back either. Looked into an acre's worth of flower beds for 1 key. Punched a few dudes I think were from space. Met one of their bosses, though I don't think Dia liked her very much. Plus her cat scratched Jaws, so Jaws bit her. She left to find a band-aid or something. Later that evening, Ham Radio and Jaws both evolved. Finally, we have a proper FM radio radio, and we relieved the local kids from their loose change. Spent a chunk of that night escorting some girl out of the forest, and then went back to sleep in an abandoned house I passed on the way. Next day, I ran into PTSD in human form. Also montaged my way through a maze, leaving me at the mercy of Gardenia. Spoiler, she didn't have any left. Jaws set up some stones and ate her cherries, but bit off more than he could chew, so I had to send out FM radio to ease the pain with some music. Gardenia didn't appreciate the music, and I had to sacrifice my MP3 so that Johns could hopefully outspeed and remove the Roserade from existence. And now, a few words in memory of Toon. Rest in peace. A bug so useless it died in the one gym it was super effective against. Pieces, your songs will be missed. Johns then almost got GG no RE 360 no-scoped by the Roserade, but fortunately had an Uno reverse card in his back pocket. Anyway, it's getting late and I gotta move underground for safety. I'll catch up with you more later. Deuces.